Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. Back in with another episode. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, as well as Band Protocol, going over some of the news information as well as the technical analysis. If you guys are new to the channel, it is very nice to meet you guys. Everybody that's returning, it's good to see you guys again. If you guys could do me a quick favor and help out by clicking that thumbs up like button, it only takes a quarter of a second. We're trying to get at least 50 likes on this video, just as we normally try to push for, and it really does help us out a lot in trying to grow this community, and I appreciate it. And also, if you guys would like to be up to date, make sure you click that bell notification. It is very important so that YouTube can actually let you know when we have new content. So let's get right into it. Yeah, I feel that was pretty quick. And so first thing we got, Bitcoin analysts and proponents have predicted a price range of $50,000 for Bitcoin next year. I mean, numbers are being thrown all over the place with this. So this is another number that's being thrown around as $50,000. Some commentators also say that the pandemic might have proved to be a turning point for Bitcoin's acceptance as a quasi-digital gold for investors, right? $1 trillion target, I almost said topic. A risk-off decline like the first quarter could return Bitcoin towards the $10,000 support level in 2021, but we believe the path of least resistance remains higher, right? Anything is possible. Yeah, it could drop down, but there's so much big money that's coming in right now that's really trying to keep it afloat, and it's not looking like it's stopping. These investors are looking to drop a whole bunch more money in this price range. They're not saying like, well, we're only going to do another $500 million if it goes back down to 10K. That's not what is being talked about. In fact, $500 million, we'll be talking about that in just a minute here. So then we got the next little bit. Bloomberg analysts have predicted a price target of $50,000 for Bitcoin. So this time from Bloomberg, implying a $1 trillion market cap for the cryptocurrency. They cite increased demand for the cryptocurrency, mainstream adoption and interest, and diminished supply as Bitcoin reaches its $21 million supply target as reasons for their estimated price. It took the NDX 14 years, to rise above its parabolic blow off top, then 6 years to rise a further 150%. Bitcoin appears poised to exceed the 2017 parabolic blow off top in a mere 3 years. Should Bitcoin's speed of ascent keep pace with the past 3 years and the degree of the rally approximate that of NDX, $50,000 per Bitcoin is a reasonable year-end 2021 price target, Emmanuel wrote. I'm still hoping and trying to bank on the idea of a $75,000 Bitcoin at the very least for next year. But, that is a substantial amount increase from where we're currently at. And it gets a little bit harder to try and get to higher prices than it is when you're, say, at like a penny and trying to move on and trying to get the adoption from there. So just keep that in mind. But then again, it was also a lot easier to come across it because there's only a couple people that had it and there was a ton, and they're trying to offload it, right? So it's this kind of catch-22. So it's really interesting the way you kind of look at it, but a lot of big money coming into play nonetheless. Let us know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Everyone else, let them know too. When I say us, so it's everybody, right? Anyways, so Bitcoin is challenging gold. Gold price outlook is no longer overwhelmingly bullish, says the UOB. Okay, so the UOB is the United Overseas Bank. This is from Singapore. Why is the gold price rally stalled, and is Bitcoin to blame? That's the subject of this. The massive surge in crypto's popularity could be partly responsible, but is far from being the sole cause. Some of the things that were big takeaways from this article: heavy redemptions have replaced the strong inflows, accumulating in the heavy outflow of about 4 million ounces of gold from the ETF tonnage across November. This drying up of gold ETF demand was seen as a key reason for gold price weakness across November. There is an increased challenge from Bitcoin as the new digital gold, the strategist pointed out. From its low of around the USD $10,000 level in early September, Bitcoin doubled in value to just under $20,000 by late November. As Bitcoin rallied from strength to strength, various commentators have started to declare that Bitcoin is the new digital gold and suggested that investors switch their investments from gold to Bitcoin. We do not know for sure the precise amount of this allocation switch into Bitcoin, but this may well be one possible explanation for the contraction in gold's ETF tonnage in recent weeks, the strategist explained. From a net purchase of 120 and 111 tons each across the first quarter of 2020 and second quarter of 2020 respectively, global central banks' net purchase of gold flipped into an unexpected net sale of 12 tons in the third quarter of 2020, the report said. This may well be due to the higher gold price over the past few years. In addition, with the broad USD weakness, central banks, particularly from EM and in Asia, may well revert to more USD allocation in order to limit the extent of appreciation of their respective domestic currencies. Ooh, ouch. Up next, a quick little tidbit from here. I'm mainly wanting to get over to the technical analysis for you guys. Last week, Kraken Intelligence, a research unit of the digital asset exchange Kraken, published results of a survey. So this is getting people's opinions, noting that clients expect an average Bitcoin price of $36,602 in 2021, nearly double the current level. Now, the way I look at this is pretty interesting. There's actually been studies that shown, for example, if there's a jar of marbles, and you have to take a guess at how many marbles are inside of that container, you ask a whole group of people, you're going to have people that are going to be really low in guessing and people that are going to be way too high, and there tends to be this median zone average that kind of falls into place. So $36,602 from where we're currently at definitely sounds doable, and if that is going to be the resting point, it is what it is. Personally, again, I'd love to see it be way higher, but I think that is interesting that they decided to conduct a test across their exchange. Next up, Microstrategy plans $400 million raise. Okay, so I mentioned $500 million earlier, remember? And so we're going to get to that. Well, now we're getting to that area. So now we're talking $400 million. So I guess it's not quite $100 million. It's only $400 million, you know. Chump change, right? Net proceeds will fund more Bitcoin buys. Key takeaway from this, Microstrategy said Monday it plans to sell up to $400 million in a convertible senior notes offering that will likely fund yet more Bitcoin allocation. That is a lot of money to potentially be coming into some more Bitcoin, right? They are stepping up and they're looking at Grayscale and they're like, hey, we're not letting you take everything. We're putting our foot down. We're getting some too. We want a little bit of this piece of pie, right? Next up, okay, so Edward Snowden. You guys may have known about him. He's been in the news a lot, especially in more recent years. So one of the things that he said that I thought was really interesting, he said, I thought I knew how bad times had gotten, but then my wife told me they took the McChicken off the dollar menu. Snowden tweeting, adding, today I learned the dollar has lost 99.93% of its value since 2013 relative to Bitcoin. Right, yeah, identifies key relative to Bitcoin. 99.93% of its value in the last 7 years. We printed so much money. The United States this year, it's been so bad. But, you know, also another takeaway from this is the fact that McChicken off the dollar menu, right? The idea of a dollar menu. What value can you get with those things? It costs them to be able to produce that and then the labor. So it's not efficient for them to keep it on that menu list, right? Now it's no longer really $1. It's going to have to cost more. So something else might go on the dollar menu. You're going to be like, that's all you get for $1? That's how inflation works. So it's kind of going to bite them in the butt when you're like, hey, we got things listed for $1. And people are going to say, well, that's not enough value for what I have. And they're like, well, that's what $1 is worth now, right? So what is it going to be called? The $2 menu? People aren't going to feel as about it. You know, the $2 menu still sounds pretty cheap, but dollar menu, that sounds really affordable for everyone. I can get a meal for $1. All right. Next up. Okay. Vorey said, governments have a greater incentive to censor Bitcoin if it's used primarily by retail investors, right? So this is talking about how institutions are going to help prevent this whole government overtake of Bitcoin and like super regulating it to the point where no one can use it. Vorey said governments have a greater incentive to censor Bitcoin if it's used primarily by retail investors. With large institutions in play, there may be a natural bulwark against government outreach. Regarding Bitcoin, Voorhees noted his belief that the greater the mix and diversity of holders, the better, before continuing. Democratization of control over money is the essence of Bitcoin. In Voorhees' view, the real surge in institutional interest will occur near the peak of the next bull market, when not owning Bitcoin will inflict reputational damage. So a lot of these financial institutions, right? It's been discussed about this before. If clients come forward and say, hey, Bitcoin is performing really well and you're supposed to be helping give me advice and what I should be putting my investments into, and you never even brought this up, right? And then their boss is going to be like, how many of your clients have Bitcoin? What do you mean? You don't have anyone with any Bitcoin? These people aren't going to want to work with us because they're going to these other people they're making way more money with them, right? And people are going to lose jobs over that. It's like, why did you not consider this? Why did you not suggest even a small incremental investment into this when you have all these other big proponents that are saying even 1%, right? Even 1% of your investment portfolio, not even bringing it up? Come on, bro. Okay, next bit. One of the key things I want to talk about regards to Orchid, and we're going to take a look at the charts up next, is that I've talked about this previously of this post December 6th. There's 7,311,000 of these tokens that are going to be released. And that is a lot, but it's actually not as much as the December 9th. For some reason, I kind of overlooked this, and I think it's just simply because I scanned down and I thought in my head that these were moving through the 2020, and that's actually going for 2021. So there will be some more that comes out next year over the next couple months. Nothing as significant as what's about to happen on December 9th. So as of yesterday, 7.3 million is now potential for movement, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. The December 9th, that's 22.4 million tokens, another 33.79 million. So you're looking at over 56 million of these tokens that are going to be getting released, right? That's a lot. Now, one of the key things also from this is that these are approximately around 50 cents to 70 cents from the initial purchases from what I have been informed. So the likelihood of these being sold on the exchanges for anything less than what they had purchased them for in the beginning, the 50 cents, 70 cents, it's very unlikely. One thing that I didn't see other people talk about, and I think it's important to note, is to say that people that got in the beginning that are a part of those large amount of coins that got in with the 50 cent, the 70 cent range, when this launched and it went really low, my nose itches. When it went really low, do you really think that all of those people did not buy any more Orchid? That 100% of all those people from the 56 million just said, hey, I got it at 50 cents. I'll just wait till it gets to that. Or do you think some of them said, you know, I believed in this project in the very beginning before anything else, and it's down at 15 cents right now, and I got 50 cents. I want a dollar cost average. I want to go ahead and buy some more to lower my value down. So that way then I can take a profit at an earlier stage, right? So sure, you helped with the momentum of everything. You have a price point for potential profit return, but how many people are literally sitting this entire year and having said, I'm not going to buy any more Orchid whatsoever, especially when all those prices were really affordable, right? So a lot of mentality is that it's being pushed down to help prepare for when this takes place, and then a major move can kind of go on. But to assume that it's going to go to 50 cents, to assume that it's going to go to 70 cents at least, and then people are going to be taking a profit, I believe is not the correct perspective for this. I do expect a rise for sure, but a significant rise without these people starting to take profits already. You know, we're going to have to wait and see. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think it's more important to take a look at the charts and then kind of gauge what takes place more so on December 9th. Let's start with Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at Orchid, and then we're going to finish up with Band Protocol and some interesting things that I saw over there with that as well. So Bitcoin just closed out the daily. We're at 4:17 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as of the time of this video, and you can see that the previous day was quite a red candle. Essentially, it was a mirror image, almost spot on, from the previous day from the green. So everything that took place the previous day essentially happened again. and closed itself out at the bottom or near the bottom of what took place from that previous day. And what's also interesting is that it has formed a symmetrical triangle in this position here. A pretty solid symmetrical triangle. I mean, we could technically raise the bar with this just a little bit, as you can see with the tops of those wicks, but I felt this is a little more substantiated going across these points. Not that big of a difference, in all honesty. When you zoom in on this, you can actually see that as of where we're at right now, which some momentum just before the daily close was pushing the price up. Not down, is pushing it up for Bitcoin. And I think one of the reasons for that is so that in this new daily formation, we were not already below the level of support that is a key level, right, for this to insinuate the idea that it's already established its position and it's more likely to have a further continuation down. Now that it's still within inside of that range, we can actually have potential for gains back up on the daily from here all the way back up to approximately $19,370. If we can pass that, then it looks more positive. Be careful of fake outs with this stuff, right? But it looks more positive that explosive rally, the switch around on the level of volume, is likely to occur. We're going to see an uptick in the volume, right? So as you guys can see when we pull out right here, I'm going to go ahead and draw just a little bit of a chart here for you guys. And a line and a squiggle going down this way, right? Started with high volume back on December 1st. Volume has progressively moved down, and we need to have another uptick take place that pushes up towards levels similar to what we saw on December 1st. So when that takes place, it's going to have a curvature effect. So the question is whether it's going to go up or down. And so we're at a key level right now where if it's not today, if today decides that it just wants to kind of be moot, right? A break from where it's currently at to tomorrow would signify a very, very bearish pattern because now we're below that level of support, which is a key position, right? And so further continuation down, probably testing the waters right around that 21 EMA, which is more than likely going to be around $18,400. That's potential. And then we have to see if it decides it wants to bounce off of that or if it's going to have a further continuation down. There might be a breach down and a retracement back up with an establishment around that zone. There's a lot of what if type scenarios with this. So, we really got to keep our eyes peeled with this. But if it climbs back up, it has that range up to what we were previously talking about, right around $19,370-ish, right? So next day, wherever it's going for today, it either decides that it's going to have the breakout occur today, or there is a very, very high likelihood and expectancy based on pattern trends that something is going to move tomorrow. And if it decides it wants to explode tomorrow, we could finally break this $20,000 and the $20,100. I don't know if it's going to bounce off of that $20,100 as soon as it happens, just so it's like, hey, okay, well, we officially got all the exchanges now. Now let's go ahead and have the battle once again, trying to get it to go down and people trying to get it to go back up, right? So very, very key time right now. Next up, Orchid. Several key things with this. I drew an extension with this green line. This is on the 21 EMA. At the 21 EMA, we have been bullish. We've been staying in continuation above that level. And we want to stay above that level for it to be continuous into bullish momentum, right? Right now, we're getting a little bit of this sideways action. There's a lot of push that's going up, but also further retracement back down. Push up massively, further retracement down. December 9th was that key date that we were talking about, which is going to be on the next candle formation. So another approximately 48 hours or so, we should see some major movement taking place with that. That would potentially break down below this key level of support unless we have that movement take place right now. You guys can already see we are very close to that position as it is. And so this has potential to have a further continuation up with a potential also of retracing once again 4 days in a row of these, actually five, arguably 6 days in a row of trying to push up, but then huge suppression back down. That can only happen so many times. If this was to go further up, a key level to break first, I've identified as 3144.3144. If it can break above that, the next major zone is going to be at 0.3309. And then above that is actually looking a lot more promising with the previous Fibonacci retracement, moving into higher zones such as the 0.3708 cent range. That's looking more on the positive side. Looking more on the negative side, if it drops down to that 21 EMA on the daily, that would actually be at 0.2873. Could be a really good buying opportunity. The new exchange announcement is good, but the December 9th with the release of those extra coins, there could be people trying to position themselves now. And I think the volatility is going to be coming very soon, you guys, very soon. We saw on December 4th, just a couple of days ago, a massive green candle take place. And once again, you got a series of time where volume goes down, but then it starts to go back up. And the previous daily candle close, this was quite low. And so an uptick, I would say, is largely to be expected. I mentioned before, on average with OXT for volume, we see 2 to 3 day periods before it tends to have a switch back over to a higher level volume. And so we have 3 days right here in order. I think today we're going to see some major movement take place, either to the positive or to the negative. Right now, it is closer to the level of support, so I do err a sense of caution. It is in the positive green as of the moment. Hopefully, it has a further continuation up. You can see just how massive these last 3 day candles were with the wick on the top side. It did go up a lot, but it retraced all the way back down to its original position and then dropped even further. So as much as it was trying to push up, there are people that have a lot of power in this that are really pushing this down. But today is going to be very important. If it was to have a further continuation going sideways, another point that I see would be resting on that 21 EMA. This green line is just a rough estimate of where it could be projected to go. So a point of intersection is going to be approximately around December 17th, December 18th, and then that is a very definitive point of position for a breakout, either up or down, seeing what it's going to end up doing. That's my take on Orchid. Now moving on to Band Protocol. Did I save it? Okay, hopefully that's saved now. Now moving on to Band Protocol. Guys, if you don't know about Band Protocol, I've talked about this before. Band Protocol has a lot of functions to it that's very, very close to Chainlink. I mean, if you were thinking about high school sports teams, Band Protocol, from what I can tell, is that opposing team that you're always trying to fight against with the Chainlink side. Chainlink has had a great year. They've done a lot of big things, and at one point they were just under $20, and Band Protocol in its position right now is at $7.43. What is interesting to note, it looks to be the formation of a double bottom pattern here, essentially like a W. And so what we've done is we created that top position, created a neckline, and by the extension out with that, between the difference of the two, you can actually see that if we were to have a breakout above the level of resistance, above the resistance, we would then have a level of approximately around $10.51, breaking the $10 range, a key psychological point. And that is also very probable because we do have positions in the past, as you can see, that were in ranges up above that dollar range. And for Band Protocol at one point, it was up to about $17.50. So it is still trailing behind that of Chainlink, but it looks like it's starting to build some strong momentum and has some good opportunity for the further continuation up. Furthermore, it is also above the 21 EMA. It has been above the 21 EMA for a closeout ever since December 2nd. So we've had nearly a week of positions above this when it did have a retracement down below with that double bottom pattern. It was very brief. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of continuation, and then previously here it dipped down below but actually closed up above. So that 21 EMA is showing very strong. This is showing key levels of continuation, and a drop down to $6.53 would tap that 21 EMA. That would be quite a substantial drop, and it is potential as well. If you look at this, you can see that we had essentially a pump and dump situation. Pump and then massive retracement down, dumping it into a position that filled not only the previous levels, but also a little bit further down. Then a pump up, a pump down, almost filling that same position, and it looks like the margin difference between these two on the left and the right is actually pretty close too, which is interesting. But then massive gain up with some retracement taking place. If this was to drop down, it would essentially fill that pump and dump kind of pattern, which is what we've been seeing. I think a lot of people are just kind of playing these mind games with waiting with what's going on with Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin is starting to move a ton. Oh wait, no, it's not. Now it's going down a ton. Now it's going up a ton. Now it's going down. What is it gonna do? Left, right. And a further breakdown could potentially see yet another tap on the level of support here at $5.40. But if it does that, having already done it twice, it's a lot more likely that it would have even more of a drop. And then a further bottom that's a very key level would be $3.83. That took place back on November 5th. So it wasn't a super long time ago. We've already seen a substantial increase since then, especially that green candle the following day on November 6th. So a retracement is possible, but as it is right now, I am definitely leaning towards more bullish, especially with its current position being much more closer to that top. And you can even see right here the formation on November 24th. It tapped that. It almost did yesterday for the December 7th candle close. So we have potential to further break out with this, but just be prepared, guys. And yeah, once again, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed yourselves, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you guys haven't yet, hit that thumbs up like button. It is greatly appreciated. We are trying to get to at least 50 likes on this video. And also, if you click that bell notification, that way then you do not miss these videos when they come out and they're new. You want to try and be up to date with this stuff as much as possible. Leave a comment down below on anything that we said or I said today. Let us know what you think. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know if I said that earlier, but it's always good to insert that these things into these videos, right? So please don't ask me for financial advice on what you should or should not buy. I can give you my opinion on like some of the stuff that I've looked at like this, but in the end, you need to make your own call. And it's good if you cross-reference and see what other people are saying as well. I highly encourage you guys. People like Crypto Lark, I think he's a great reference. Ivan on Tech, really good guy. I like the Moon as well. And you know, there's other people on my list as well. That's just a couple for you guys if you don't know other people to check out. And you know, tell them I sent you in the comments or something like that. I don't know. It'd be cool to hang out with those guys. We got an awesome community here. I appreciate all of you tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, whatever time it is for you guys, and I will see you in the next episode.